Hey everybody, I'm Shane,
And I'm Nolan.
and this is the Catfish Connection,
Episode
episode
1.
1.
Hey Shane,
Hi, hey Nolan.
how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Shane.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Big dumps.
Boost Gumps.
Yeah.
Something chocolate shake. The Timmy Turner thing. Mongoose, guava juice.
What are you talking about?
Ice cream chocolate shake. Fairy godparents. Ooh ee ooh ah ah. You know? The theme.
Yeah.
You said big dumps, I said boost gumps. Orange juice.
This is going so over my head right now.
Guava juice. But footloose, mongoose. Obtuse. I'm panicking.
Why?
Oh, I'm fine. I was just joking.
Oh.
I love this. You listen to any good music recently?
I've been listening to I've listened to more of Mozart's Requiem.
Yep.
And I listened to the Apache EDM covers of some of the songs in there, and yeah, that's just what I was listening to today and yesterday. But I found this new band called Mouse on the Keys, which I showed you earlier.
Oh yeah,
And it's really good.
Those Asian guys.
Yeah, they're all like, it's like slightly out of the box, but it's
like
and
200 keyboardists playing the keyboard together.
It's like slightly jazzy, but it's not jazz,
Yeah.
and it's a little out of the box, but not atonally out of the. It's not like
Yeah.
completely like atonal.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
still,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
tonal
We
music.
talked about that. I remember that now.
Yeah. Where it's like it's still pleasant to listen to because like while I appreciate avant-garde music that's atonal as like art music,
Yeah.
it's not entertaining because there's a big difference between art and entertainment, I think. Like,
well, yeah, because sometimes, you can appreciate things about like avant-garde music, but it's not always nice to just like have, when you've had like a long day, you don't want to like sit down and listen to John Cage because you'll just be like, like this is a lot to take on right now. I just want to listen to something that's like, that's cool.
It's like when I think about that, sometimes when people judge music, they don't take into account the same way in other art forms that you would, whether what the audience is, whether it's supposed to be art or entertainment, because music, there's like this belief that all music should be art.
Yeah.
And it's like music is art, but it's like not all music is art, and it's not all supposed to be art.
Yeah, because people don't recognize that there are both types. And so like the lay people are like, why does your music have to sound weird? Like that's really annoying and stupid and I hate it. What's the point? But there's also the people who are like, why does your music sound so normal and basic and not cool?
Right.
Because it's not crazy and artistic. So it's like both sides, you kind of got to recognize that there's different situations and different people where you would want different, one of those or the other,
It's like the people who write pop music aren't trying to make art.
Yeah.
They're trying to make something that people will enjoy and listen to so they can make some money,
Yeah.
And that's all right. And that's why they have a lot of money. And that's why avant-gardists don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I respect that you're trying to be an artist and that you're trying to make crazy music that no one's ever heard before, but I still listen to some music like that.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people give just I just don't take it. Just they don't separate those worlds.
Yeah, because to me it's like you can hang like it's like you can think of the same thing about like paintings and stuff.
Right.
You know, if you're decorating like a diner, right? You're not gonna put like a Francis Bacon painting up, which is like people screaming and fucking like dismembered body parts and stuff. You're gonna put up like some nice landscapes, and while just like painting a landscape might not be quite as artistic as what he's trying to like express, or like who's that Polish guy? There's this I can't remember his name right now, but there was this Polish guy, and he like made a lot of like really like scary art. Like there was that YouTube video that was like the nightmare art thing about it, and there was the weird like creature that was like crawling around. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Hold on.
I've seen some like. Yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about though, because I found this one underground artist guy that was making like really creepy art, and I don't remember his name now, but.
God, what's his name? Fuck, Beksinski? Or is it? It's Zdzislaw Beksinski. But yeah, like you wouldn't hang that on a diner, but that doesn't on a diner wall, right? But that doesn't mean it's not good art.
But also, like art, like painting as an art, or like the like visual art kind of stuff, like handmade, is a little bit different because you can get a lot of because like the scene is different. Like people are expecting more artistic art than, because if you make like generic like hotel art or whatever, I heard that term once, then your name is not going to be well known.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're making generic music, your name will be a lot more well known because you're making it pleasant.
That's true. Well, that's kind of a thing, is like, I don't think most people could name very many artists.
True.
At all, like painters or sculptors or anything like that. I think most people probably know like if they were to think of like current ones at least, they could probably think of like one that they like heard of in school or something. Whereas like everybody knows like musicians. Like if you were like, who's Kanye West, you know, everybody'd be like, where did you come from? Like, did you just like fall out of a closet? Like, have you not participated in modern history?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, whereas if somebody's like, who the fuck is, you know, some famous artist, people are like, oh yeah, it's this famous artist. Like, they're not like, why don't you know who this guy is? You know, it's kind of weird, like that. They don't get the same like recognition. You know, it's kind of like just think, you can be like a really good artist and nobody will like recognize you on the street. You know, some people might have heard of your name, whereas like if you're even like a moderately famous musician, like you're gonna get approached like regularly.
Right. It's like it's like people know your face.
Yeah, but they're both forms of art. But
yeah.
And same
like
thing.
I can tell you about like a couple different names, but for like painters.
Yeah.
But like
modern painters though.
Not well. I mean,
people who are
like
still like
Pollock.
alive.
I don't know his face. You know,
Yeah.
I would not know his face.
You wouldn't recognize Jackson Pollock walking down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never even seen it before.
I would know Vincent van Gogh
and Bob Ross.
If Vincent van Gogh or Bob Ross were walking down the street, I would be like, whoa, who could have imagined that they're both still alive and walking down my street together? That's amazing.
And honestly, like, I know what Van Gogh looks like, but if he was walking by in like modern clothes, I don't think I'd be like, that guy looks like Van Gogh. You
would probably be like, oh, some ginger guy.
Yeah.
If anything, you'd probably not even notice a guy walking now. You know. Well, because that's the thing, is like his art is somewhat more representational. You know, because of his big fat brushstrokes and his stylistic approach.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, his self-portraits, I don't think, you know, it's very possible to have a firm grasp of what this guy looked like. Whereas, like, if we had a picture of him, you know, that'd be one thing. But I think about that a lot. Like, it's kind of impossible to know what, like, certain people looked like famous people looked like before pictures were invented. Because there's, you know, it could be...
Because painters could have, like, they could have been paid to make them look better.
Yeah, and I feel like they do, just naturally. Like, they hide some of your flaws and they bring out some of your stuff. So I'm like, you know, maybe George Washington was, like, ugly. And, because he looks pretty nice in his
right.
paintings and stuff. But maybe, you know, like, his eye was a little funky and, you know, his nose was crooked, but they're just like, you know, right. Artistic liberty. He is the president of this new country, so we'll make him look real cool. Give him a nice hair. You know, his wig was like constantly fucked up, and they're just like, you know, smooth it out. You never know.
It's true.
I don't know. Was he wearing a wig? Was he wearing like a powdered wig? What's with powdered wigs, by the way? Was that really just a thing that people used to just wear wigs all the time?
I guess so, as long as you're...
That's such a strange...
high class.
It's such a strange phenomenon for, like, a whole generation of, like, rich people to just be like, I'm just going to wear a wig. Were they bald under the wigs, you know?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
Did they shave their heads? Or did they just have, like, a ponytail going on? You know, tie it up?
Yeah.
Because... You gotta think, like, what if George Washington just, like, took off his wig and he just has, like, luscious, like, brown hair?
Yeah.
You know, and you're just like, whoa. Because he's always got the white, but I don't feel like he was that old. You know, he was, like, fucking serving in the military.
Right, yeah.
You know. I guess you can be old in the military, but, you know, he was really out and about. I don't know. How did we get on George Washington again?
Oh, you were talking about
paintings
of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making them look nicer.
Yeah. I mean, well, and people still do that with, like, Instagram. Like, all Instagrammers are photoshopped and everything like that. Like, it's just, like, accepted. It's just, like, standard. But then people still get mad when they, like, catch it. They're like, oh my gosh, they photoshopped her, man. I can't believe it. It's like, believe it. They do that.
It happens, yeah.
They do that all the time. People are very imperfect and nasty most of the time. You know, except Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Tim's just naturally beautiful. All right, where are we?
We should try to come up with a name.
Yeah.
So, well, my name for my radio show is Catfish Corner, so let's try to bounce it off of that somehow. Maybe give some ideas.
You just want the Catfish experience.
That's definitely an option.
I suggested that earlier, and Shane said, "Yeah, I want that one." And then he wants me to say it because he doesn't want to decide. But Shane, do you want to name this podcast the Catfish Experience?
I don't necessarily, like, we can keep brainstorming, because what if I won't find something better, you know? Like...
That was a high five, down low.
Anyway.
For those listening at home.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. That looks pretty brutal to me.
Yeah, I clipped the microphone. Ka-ching.
That thing's probably insanely loud.
Okay, let me look around the room. Rocket. Sword. Shirt. Guitar. Shane. Shane is wearing a KGM shirt at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
representing the Catfish Corner.
My Cajun radio merch.
Tell the folks at home where they can listen to the Catfish Corner.
You can listen to my show, The Catfish Corner, on KGym 89.9 in the Palouse area. Or you can go to the kgymjazz.org website, or you can go to NWPB, Northwest Public Broadcasting app on your phone and listen to it playing on the radio live.
Gentle high five.
That was much better.
Yeah, we need to perfect the gentle high five.
Yeah.
I always go hard for high fives. Or you know what? You know what happens to me a lot?
What?
People will go for a high five and I'll just lift my hand up. Like I won't even like go for it. And they'll like wind up and like and then they're the ones who are like, "Ow, you hit my hand so hard." And I'm just like, "What are you talking about? You just winded up for the annihilating shot on my fucking palm, and you're complaining that I hurt you? I just lifted my hand up."
Yeah.
You know? That happens to me more than once, I'd say, per month. It's such a phenomenon.
See, and I don't even high five people. It's like nobody. I don't like meet someone. You're the only person that I really high five.
I'm just a high fiver.
Yeah.
We'll be the high five club. Just a little tap. I think that high five was too gentle.
Oh yeah, we got to perfect the balance. We got to balance it. That was good.
It's all right.
Yeah. What should we name our podcast?
Let's go one for one. First thing that comes to mind, back and forth, okay?
Larry,
the cable guy. It's your turn.
stool.
Are you just choosing single words? We can't just call it stool, and we can't just call it Larry. Can we call it Larry Stool?
Oh, I thought we were building off of each other.
No, we're just spitballing.
Oh, okay. You know, I thought we were gonna like one word, and so then like build something out of that.
Oh, okay, we can do that too.
Okay.
Is it supposed to be a sentence, or are we doing like, you know, that game show where it's you have to like take one word, and then like, so it's like ball, and then you say ball room, and then you say room. What's a room? What's a
roommate?
Roommate, and then it's like mate something, you know, and you just keep going. I've already proven that I'm terrible at it, just trying to explain it, so I don't know if it's a great idea.
Maybe not, yeah.
I'll do the first word, though.
Alright.
You ready?
I am ready.
I can't even think of a first word, man. How am I supposed to do this?
So we are doing the bouncing thing now.
Yes.
The game, okay.
And there's each one's supposed to be related to the last one.
Alright.
And then we can choose two, or we can do the catfish experience. If we can't come up with a good one from this. Or we can do something else.
I don't want to just go back to a plan B, though. I want to find, like, the golden one that makes me go,
okay,
that's it.
Okay. Like Prospus did.
Exactly.
We were like, yeah.
Exactly. Like, we found it and we knew it was the one.
Yeah. Key.
Hole.
Foods. This is so hard! Shirt.
Button.
Down.
Up.
I don't think that counts.
What?
Because nobody's like, that's not like a phrase, like, or nobody's like, down, up, you know, but people are like, ballroom.
Down, up, down, up, down.
That was a high five, guys.
No,
I just high fived Shane.
Okay.
He just fell down the stairs.
Okay, you said down. Okay. Town.
That's a good one. House. You can't think of anything that comes with house?
They're on the tip of my tongue, but there's just, I don't know. Okay. I'm drawing blanks.
Pet.
There we go. That's a good one.
But now it's your turn again because I said it.
Ing. Petting.
I can't start with ing. You can't use a suffix. By its very definition, a suffix can't be used to begin a sentence.
Cat.
Pet cat. Terpillar. This is going terribly. Dead air.
It's funny because every time you can't think of one, I can think of one. And then whenever I can't
Toy.
think of one, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Dog.
Toy dog? I guess. Yeah. Like a stuffed dog. Toy. Dog. Bone.
Meal.
Time. Meal time. We'll call this podcast Meal Time. And we won't eat.
Catfish mealtime.
Yeah. Man, these are such good ideas. I'm just kidding. These are awful ideas. Every single one of them. Time.
Warp.
That's so hard. Warp. Drive.
Way.
I'm trying to think of... Oh, wait, no. Way. Side.
Side. Ways.
Ways out.
Outside.
I'm gonna punch you. Siding.
Wait.
What's happening?
Never mind, I think we're good.
This is the shittiest podcast.
No, it's not. This is funny. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god.
You're so mean.
Oh my god.
Okay, wait, what were we on?
Side, and then walk.
Walk. God damn it. Walk away.
No, that doesn't work. I just imagined you have Shane has his leg like bridging across from his chair to his bed, and I just imagined in my head just pile driving into his knee so that it bends backwards and cracks.
You're a menace.
I wanted to tell you that I'm having these thoughts. just so you're ready.
I'm driving over the wall.
Was that David? Is David here?
I don't think so. I checked Life 360 and
Really? I heard a door.
Oh, really?
A car
so
door.
He is here.
Oh no. Nope, just my car's out there.
Okay.
Thought we were gonna have a surprise David appearance. A David sighting. Walk.
Walk. Oh, God. This isn't working.
Yeah, you're right. What do you suggest we do?
Well, let's
Dead air.
what's okay. We need to draw something that means something to both of us.
You know I'm just gonna draw a dick, right?
Okay. We need to think about things that mean something to both of us. Let's draw things from our past. Well, not draws, but like let's bring in. I used to throw robots at you, and I used to bully you and your brother.
Robot Chuckers Incorporated.
Hey, I mean,
why should we be defined by our former conflict, Shane?
I don't know.
I think we should be defined by what we do together.
Podcast.
I was going to say jerking off.
Oh, okay.
Something we regularly do together. Can we put that on YouTube? Nobody's going to listen to this anyway.
No. Absolutely not.
Until our like later episodes get like good enough that people start listening, and then people will go back to like the first episode to start from the beginning, and then they'll hear this and they'll be like, "Good Lord," you know.
But by then they'll already know who we are, so
it's true. It's true. You know, we're both musicians. We're both.
That's on the word. That's on the yeah.
We're both.
We're both people that that were going somewhere down another direction, and decided that fuck a plan B.
Yeah. We're
call this plan C.
We're both people who we think we have brown hair, but other people think we have blonde hair.
That's true.
Even I think you have blonde hair.
Really? Well, I have blonde hair now.
I've always considered you a blonde.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But I'm pretty clearly brunette, right?
I mean, you're clearly brunette.
Yeah.
Because I've always been friends with Scott, and my whole family has dark brown hair.
Although, when your hair gets long, like it gets darker. Like a lot of the pictures of you with long hair, it's pretty dark.
That's what I'm basing it off of, because my whole life, like I had pretty long hair as a kid.
Yeah, but usually when it's around this length, it looks pretty blonde. But I see the argument for you saying that, because if I was to like look at like a group of your hair, I would be like, that's the color brown, you know. But for some reason, you know.
And the lighting too.
Yeah.
White, reflective lighting.
But yeah, I hate people who like to argue about it so much.
Yeah. Like
there are people who will just, they don't know when to stop. They'll just be like, yeah, you have blonde hair, man.
Like, the color is it's its own color, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the point of defining it to one group?
Yeah, and they'll just go on and on forever. And I'm like, if you were going to draw me with crayons, which crayon would you use to draw my hair? You know, because I wouldn't choose yellow. I wouldn't choose like tan or something.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because like when I think of blondes, I think of like Scott, and I like he has less. He used to have a lot more blonde hair.
Yeah.
It was like bleached blonde, even like.
Yeah,
it was like really blonde, and I was like thinking like
white blonde.
When I would think people would say blonde, I'm thinking like yellow crayon hair color, you know.
Yeah. And
I didn't have anything close to that. So
yeah. So yeah, I would choose a brown crayon every time. When I would draw myself as a kid, I would use a brown crayon.
Yeah.
When we would fill out like those like posters and stuff like that, like getting to know you stuff in school. You know, when it says like hair color, I would put brown. You know,
and when I was friends, because I was friends with Scott, mostly like I was the brown haired kid.
Yeah.
So, like,
Big Scott.
Yeah.
Yo, we should have Scott on our podcast.
Yeah, be a guest.
So yeah, it's nice to have like a group or a duo. And then have a guest where you have like one new guy and then two people who like do it. I think 2 people is like the perfect. Did we both get notifications at the same time?
No, I'm checking.
Oh, okay.
Life 360.
Because I was like, oh, that's weird. Because it was just a Fitbit notification. All right, names.
All right. What was the last idea I had? Oh yeah, something to do with musicians. Oh yeah, that's a great one.
That's great. That's genius.
Where did that just come
Yeah,
from?
we're both gamers also.
I like the idea of going somewhere with the fact that we're both like aspiring musicians.
Yeah.
Aspiring like famous people. You
Yeah.
know? We just we wanna. We gave up. We were told to go be businessmen or go into IT or do like computer technology, computer science, and we were just like, even though it's kind of a shifty future,
Yeah.
with full of uncertainty, we'd rather like go into something that we're super interested in, and yeah.
Rather than have security in a job that we don't like.
And we've been doing like we have. I mean, you're working on an album. I've made like a couple like really like not super involved out like.
And we have an album. We have an album together
folk
with
album,
David.
yeah, and I want to make more of that, but he's never like here to do that.
Yeah. And then hopefully we can once I get a drum set, which then we can start working on Prospis. But
yeah, I need to write more music for that and getting better at the third song I wrote because
have you been practicing
really
those? Have you been like sitting down and like keeping those fresh?
I'm
curious.
Not a whole lot. Occasionally, I'll run through them, but
yeah.
I played the first one so many times. I'm sure that's like still solid, but the second one is I need to work on again.
And have you transcribed them?
That
might be a good exercise.
Well, I didn't. The first one is transcribed into Sibelius and was also handwritten out.
Oh, okay.
The second and third ones, my writing process is to like tab them in my book, because I do them by ear. And then I tab them in the book, so they're like written out for me to read when I go back to it later.
Gotcha.
But I haven't actually like musically written them out on staff paper. But that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so I only do that if I'm gonna be like putting it on Sibelius to like release it as for sale and stuff.
Yeah, I think tabs. Some people like shit on tabs. Like it's like inferior, but I think it's a good accessible way of teaching guitar. And
I use it for like retention, because it doesn't make any sense for me to write something on guitar and then write it down to remember it in sheet music.
Yeah, and then have to remember all the fingerings and stuff.
Because the way I'm writing it in my book is to remember it, because when I come back the next day, I want to remember what the progress I made.
Yeah.
It's so much better. It's like an immediate click. I'm just like, okay, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
That's
to me, like, because music notation, like regular staff notation, it makes sense when you have like a monophonic instrument, or like an instrument where the note is always fingered the same, or maybe there's like one or two fingerings. Whereas guitar, there's tons of different ways that you could play every single note at different places. Yeah. So it makes more sense to say what fret, what string for everything. Whereas,
because I'm not trying to be professional with it, I'm just trying to write it down real quick.
Yeah, and it doesn't take any more space on the page to write it that way. And you can use rhythmic notation on tablature. You know, it's like really some people are like, well, tabs, there's no rhythm, but there are ways of writing it out. Like,
yeah, and usually I won't even bother with that. I'll just record myself playing it to kind of if it's even like if it's hard for me to remember, because if it's easy then I just won't even bother, because I'll just from looking at the fingerings I'll remember what I was doing.
But if that's really something you care about, if you're like,
Right.
I want to be able to have my rhythms notated on the page. It doesn't take that much extra space to notate that. So I don't see why people are so dismissive of tablature.
I think tabs are older than modern
I think so
notation.
too.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Because most lute and mandolin music is in tablature rather than music notation. I never find music notation for mandolin unless it's just like a song and you can play it on mandolin or a different instrument.
Right, yeah.
Because in that case, they'll just put music notation and then it's for mandolin, tin whistle, whatever you want to play it on.
Right.
So it's really just for generalizing. Like, that's the only point of putting it in music notation. I think tablature is a fine way to go.
Yeah, because I mean, music notation is useful for analysis and other like musical things, but when it's just strictly performance and playback, tabs are simple, like good enough.
Yeah, because the thing is that there's
because I can't read tabs and read the music. I can't see music when I read tabs.
Yeah, because the only reason for music notation is you can tell what the notes are immediately. But it doesn't really matter when you're just learning to play it what notes you're actually playing necessarily. And if you're familiar enough with the fretboard, then you can still know what notes you're playing.
Right.
So it's just like, it's not like adding a layer of abstraction. It's just taking it and moving it a little bit. So, yeah. But we need to figure out this name situation. We got distracted.
We still have like 23 minutes or something.
Yeah. You want to cut it at an hour?
Well, it doesn't. This one doesn't actually have to be, but I mean, it seemed like a good amount of time to make them generally.
Yeah. I think an hour is fairly standard, because 3 hours is like a long podcast.
Right.
And I've seen some like 2 or 2.5 hour podcasts, but they're all also pretty long. But I think an hour to an hour and a half is pretty much this is how long a podcast is,
Right. I wish that I was because Joe, you make a podcast your own name if you already have a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Like Joe Rogan was already a dude, before he made the Joe Rogan Experience.
Comedian. He was the guy on Fear Factor.
Right.
He was on radio, news radio, UFC, everything. So yeah, it makes sense. Because then people are like, oh, this is Joe Rogan. I like Joe Rogan. You know? And so they'll click, but people aren't going to be like, oh, Shane Isom. Oh, Nolan Hanna.
Yeah.
Whoa. Love that guy, because nobody knows who we are yet.
Has to have a catchy title.
Yeah, it has to be catchy.
Has to, like a catfish.
You want the catfish experience?
I don't know.
Shane wants the catfish experience, everybody.
No. Well, I not necessarily. Because I think the experience part is too indicative of the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be because it's about catfish. In fact, it probably shouldn't be. But
you don't want catfish? Wait, what did you say? Can you say that again?
I said it doesn't have to be catfish. In fact, it probably shouldn't be, but we could. I'm just saying it probably shouldn't be because we could find something more meaningful.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really have to be meaningful. So I don't know.
But I can't. I don't know of anything that particularly meaningful that we can name it. I can't think of anything. I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, because that's why I was going towards like thinking about our musicianship.
Yeah.
And our our like childhood, because we were still friends when we were kids.
Yep.
And I don't. Yeah, you know, we're gamers.
Seal High School
True,
podcast.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't want to associate myself with that high school ever again.
Me neither.
What a dump.
The Goblin Hour.
Catfish and goblins.
You can name it Live Lars.
We should just name it like some names that aren't our names. Like Larry,
Doug,
and Tim, and Doug.
I want to be Doug.
Oh, okay.
Are we going to refer to each other as these names?
Or wait, you should be Krog.
Krog and...
Didn't we come up with a weird name for it? Or
I don't think so.
well, maybe not.
Not on the same night, at least.
Right. No, not on the same night.
Other than Boost.
Because you were going to be you were going to be the prophet, and I was going to be the god.
Oh yeah.
You know, that everyone worships.
Yeah, I don't know.
In our Buddhist cult.
Shaner. Big Shaner. Anti-Israel. Probably shouldn't.
God.
I'm not touching that, baby. I have no stance on Israel. Fuck. Edward 40 Hands.
What? Is that?
Do you remember that?
Oh
When
yeah.
we were playing Magic.
Yeah, you said you should duct tape like jugs to your hands.
Yeah.
But that was you though.
Jugs. I just imagined pile driving your knee again.
Fuck. Okay, I'll stop doing that.
just.
Alright. Well, what should I name? You know,
Goldfish.
Iceman.
The snack that smiles back.
Are
we gonna get food after this?
Absolutely.
Oh, dude, I'm so hungry. What time is it? Oh, it's 10. Panda is already closed.
Oh,
Shucks.
darn.
I was gonna say we should go to Panda because I haven't been to Panda in a fat old minute. And I've already had Taco Bell and McDonald's today.
Oh, darn.
Which is very rare. Usually I only go get fast food once, but I was like in town all day, and so I got lunch and then I got dinner.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my god, I'm eating... But I just had like a McChicken, a single McChicken. So it wasn't like a meal, you know. Just got a McChicken and a root beer. Why are you laughing? What are you laughing at me for?
Because my chickens are my favorite. He doesn't get what I'm talking about.
Are you referring to the fucking the McChicken?
Maybe, perhaps.
Shane fucked a McChicken one time.
No, I didn't. I wish.
He denies it to this day, but he definitely did.
Should.
I'm lying. I'm totally lying.
Let's go to McDonald's after this, and we'll fix that.
Are there any places that are open late?
Other than
Burger King? Could get Impossible
so.
Whoppers?
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
know. You're not a big Impossible Whopper guy, are you?
Not particularly, but
I just like it because it's probably healthier than eating McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't feel as bad eating an Impossible Whopper. Oh, let's call this the Impossible Podcast.
It's an interesting.
We'll call it 100% Whopper, 0% beef. 100% podcast, 0% meat.
Yeah, it has no meat to it.
Yeah, there's no meat to this podcast.
Yeah,
if you came here for meat,
get out of here.
I just shook my head solemnly.
Yeah.
We can call it Starbucks Sucks.
The dinner club.
The dinner club. Like the Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was David that hasn't seen it.
David hasn't seen it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But you've also not seen the Goonies.
God, there's nothing similar between the Breakfast Club and the Goonies.
Dude, everybody's seen the Goonies.
You are wrong.
Everybody
about that.
say in the comments, have you seen the Goonies?
And how, like, necessary is it for a child to see the? Like,
it's a great movie.
I mean, is it like a classic or is it?
Yes.
Have you seen?
It totally is.
Have you seen fucking Little Rascals?
I have not seen Little Rascals.
Well, then don't. That's my Goonies.
I don't even know what Little Rascals is vaguely about. How? Everybody, tell us in the comments which is like more of a classic, the Goonies or Little Rascals. I look forward to seeing the 4 people who comment on this video's input.
Well, because the Little Rascals is
Rascals
is older,
which makes it more classic.
Yeah, that's what classic means.
You know what other
and it's also it's
what other movie is older than the Goonies? Most of them.
It's about a band of kids doing stuff like crazy like stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Little Rascals, you know.
Yeah, they're like little rascals.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like some kind of little rascals or something, doing rascally little games and hoodwinks and hijinks and all kinds of inks.
You know, and the main character's name is Alfalfa. David's seen the Little Rascals.
Alfalfa.
He's the bridge between us. He's seen both movies. Yeah.
The Goonies is a classic.
I never even heard of it until I met you.
Well, I've barely heard of Little Rascals.
Okay.
I've heard the name a couple times.
My sister bought me the Little Rascals movie for my birthday.
There's this line in the Goonies where she's like she's trying to play this organ. It's like a puzzle. She has to play the organ correctly or they die.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then she's like, I can't tell if it's A sharp or B flat. And then she chooses one of those 2 options and it's the wrong one. And so me and my sister were like, those are the same thing. Like, you're retarded. I don't think they were self-aware about it. I'm pretty sure that was completely a mistake.
The movie
Yeah, I think they fucked up.
Really?
I think that was on accident.
That's weird.
But it's also been a really long time since I've seen the Goonies. Or I like the part where he takes the painting and pokes a hole through the back of it, where the mouth is, and then he goes, sticks his tongue.
Have you seen Mr. Bean?
Yes, of course I've seen Mr. Bean.
Well, how you haven't seen Little Rascals? How the fuck
you
do
haven't
I
seen
know?
the Goonies.
Shut
How do
up.
I know you've seen Mr. Bean?
Have you seen like?
Let's
have
call
you seen the movies
call this
or just
podcast,
the show? Or?
Let's call this podcast Beantown. Go on.
Have you Have you just seen the movies, or have you seen all of the TV show, or have you seen both of them?
I think I've seen pretty much every time Mr. Bean has showed up in front of the camera. I think I've seen all the episodes, because they're not that many.
What about Johnny English?
I have not seen Johnny English.
Okay.
But I did hear about it when it was like...
Mm-hmm.
Because it came out within our lifetimes, didn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Because I vaguely remember like seeing like movie posters of it, you know, when it was like coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. But I was aware of Johnny English.
Did you watch the Olympics when Rowan Atkinson was on it?
I didn't know that he was, but I just don't watch the Olympics.
Well, because you know when they like do the initiation ceremony, like the opening ceremony, where they're like all the teams are coming out. They have like a big show, and I think it was the same show where the Queen parachuted out of a helicopter.
Oh, yeah. I don't watch the Olympics because we don't have cable.
Okay, we don't have cable either,
and I don't know where you would watch the Olympics. Honestly,
we don't have every Olympic sport, but we have a lot of swimming and track. You know, the two most exciting sports.
What do you mean have? Like, do they broadcast them all separately?
For us, well, like. like it's different stations are covering different things.
Really? That's
so, like,
strange to me.
Um,
I thought it was like, this is the Olympics, and right now we have this event going on.
well, because they have like they have a lot of events, so they have a lot of different things.
And they're all going on at the same time?
Yeah, most of them. Well, I mean, they'll have like them separated by days, but they'll have multiple events in certain days because it only goes on for like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of events.
I just thought it was like, right now is snowboarding, slalom, and right now is... And then after that, they're like, now we're going to have skiing.
Well, because like I see like for the 2 weeks, I see like several days of swimming during the summer ones, and I see like several days of track, and I see several days of whatever. But there's also like, and that takes up like the entire time is like those big ones,
I honestly don't think I've ever watched like a full Olympic event in my entire life. I don't think I've ever been like, I'm going to sit down and watch gymnastics or something.
Well, I mean, I don't follow them super closely, but I know what's going on, and like the TV's on during the Olympics, and so I'll like see bits of it.
Yeah.
But I only ever see bits of track and swimming.
I might watch the skateboarding.
Oh yeah,
this year.
Yeah. I doubt I would get that because I'm pretty sure they're just gonna cover swimming and track again. Mm-hmm. But you can go online.
When are the Olympics going?
They got postponed, I think.
Yeah. Do we know when they're gonna be?
Probably next year.
Yikes. The 2020 Olympics are going to be in 2021.
Yeah.
Are they going to have to wait the whole length? And is that going to push the whole Olympic for the rest of history? It's going to be on the ones now instead of the zeros and the twos and the fours and sixes?
I guess so.
Fuck.
I don't know. Yeah.
Shit. They're going to be odd.
We need another pandemic.
What if that's happened before? What if like they started on evens and then they went to odds and then we're back on evens right now and now we're going to be on odds again?
That'd be funny.
That would be hilarious.
And every time it happens, every time it happens, people like us are just like,
"Oh my god, no,
shoot,
fuck."
But yeah, I've always wanted to watch things like fencing, but I've never actually gotten around to like looking them up online.
Yeah. So yeah, the only sport that I've ever cared enough to actually watch online is UFC.
Oh yeah.
I love UFC. Like ever since I actually started watching it, I've been obsessed with it. I just love it so much. And I started watching it from the first UFC in like the 80s. And they're old, like like really old like footage where like there will be like a city skyline at night and they'll like move the camera and there'll just be like streaks of like shitty light effect, like you know what I mean? Because like the equipment is so old, that they're just like these ghost trails whenever they're like shaking the camera around. You can barely see anything because it's so like fucked up. God, early color television was like a nightmare,
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking. Oh, I really like it. And I watched the first one that had Joe Rogan in it, and Joe Rogan is like, he's so young. He's like, he looks like a teenager. I think he's like in his 20s, but he's definitely like skinny and he has like brown hair and he's and
you're pulling my leg.
No facial hair at all.
What the heck?
Brown, but yeah, dark brown hair, and he's like, I'm here, and he's like still got like a Boston accent because he grew up in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And so he had like a Boston accent for like a long time, and then he kicked it, and now he has like a normal person accent, like us.
Yeah.
But I like listening to people with like weird American accents and stuff. Also, I found out there are these people who live in like off the East Coast on these like islands, and they're called high tiders, and they have these weird fucking accents that you have never heard before.
Really?
It's so strange. They sound like it's almost a mix of like the like
Wales.
It's kind of like Irish, but then it's also kind of like a southern accent. like a Cajun accent, but then it almost sometimes sounds like the like, we're gonna bust out of here, see, like the weird like 20s accent, the like transatlantic, I guess. But yeah, it's like a weird mix of those three accents, and your brain is like trying to figure out, like sometimes it's like, oh, it just sounds like a southern accent, and then sometimes you're like, nah, that's not a southern accent, that's like a weird Irish accent. But yeah, and it's so strange, man.
Did Conor McGregor retire?
Did he? Recently?
I think I got because I just followed him on Instagram, and
Oh
I
my
got like
God.
a happy retirement cake or some shit. And I'm like confused because it seems like a really big deal for me to just stumble onto.
I need to find out right now. Oh my God. Conor McGregor retired.
Oh my God.
Or maybe is retiring. Hey guys, I've decided to retire from fighting. Thank you for all the amazing memories. What a ride it's been. Here's a picture of myself and my mother in Las Vegas. Oh my God. Well, guys, I just found out that Conor McGregor retired. Fuck.
I'm starting to do this too.
What are we gonna do without Conor McGregor?
I don't know what we were going to do without Conor McGregor.
Everybody loves Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
That's like if you heard that, like, imagine. Hold on. I need to think of like another celebrity that can be compared to Conor McGregor.
I don't think there is one. There is not another celebrity that exists like Conor McGregor.
What if? Fuck. Hold on. I'm trying to think of like a singer or something who's like popular. Who's like a pop singer that's not a rapper?
Katy Perry.
What if Katy Perry in like 2008 was like, I've decided to retire from singing. You know? People would be rioting. And I'm considering busting into a Target and stealing all their toilet paper over Conor McGregor right now.
Me too. Let's go.
Let's do it. Fuck, we still don't. Can we name it Rest in Peace Conor McGregor? ConorMcGregorTributes.com.
Oh shit! Yeah, we're almost at an hour.
So
we don't have to cut it off.
We've got to come up with a name because we can't leave until we
Okay.
come up with a name.
Okay.
The Conor McGregor
We're hungry,
experience.
man.
And we're hungry.
Hungry.
Hungry boys.
Let's base it off something that like Mitchell said or something like that, you know, or something.
Eating a mile of her shit.
Just to see where it came from.
Yeah.
Or what's something else?
One time he hit me because I was playing keep away with a pan from him. And then he felt really bad and he apologized. He didn't really hit me. He like pushed me.
We should just call it like Mitchell's fan club.
Mitchell Theodore. I don't know. Shane just hit me.
No, I didn't.
Call the
You're
police.
lying. You're
I'm not
lying
safe.
now.
I'm not safe right now. If you know where I am, please bring somebody to help me. I'm not safe.
Haven't you heard the police don't exist anymore?
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe if I call the police, I can reach for my wallet and they'll shoot me 36 times in the chest. Let me think.
Then you're like, hey, what's I didn't do anything wrong. They're like, I don't like you.
Yeah,
I have a gun and you don't.
I am judge, jury, and executioner.
No, I'm not bound by regulations.
Can we call this Judge Judy fan club?
I hate Judge Judy.
I also hate Judge Judy.
Perfect.
I used to. You know how Mrs. Murphy had that like box that you could put sticky notes in?
I didn't have Murphy.
Oh, you never had, or it wasn't a box. She had like a cork board on her wall. What's that called? A bulletin board. And she was like, if you have any like quotes or like inspiring messages or like drawings or anything, you know, put it up on a cork board. And so I would just like write like stupid quotes and then put Judge Judy, attribute them to Judge Judy, and then like slap those bitches on the wall, and they stayed up all year.
Wow.
Or it was kind of like my quote board in geometry. Were you there for that? Were you in geometry with me?
No, I wasn't in your.
Oh well, I had a wall, the entire back wall.
Which year even was geometry? Was that sophomore year?
That was my freshman year. And
then you're right. I had Seidel.
Gotcha.
Shut up.
Please. Oh, thank
going.
the Lord.
That is so bizarre.
That was strange. Maybe it was like because it just hit an hour. Maybe it was like an hour of inactivity at shut down.
I'm surprised though because I could have sworn I had moved the mouse at some point.
We need to remember that for next time.
Yeah.
Like set it to not do that.
Yeah.
Anyways, on the back wall of Mrs. Zanich's classroom, there was a whiteboard, and I decided to put up like quotes and stuff and attribute them to like completely random people. Like I would take like a quote from like some rapper or something and attribute it to Gandhi.
Wow.
You know? And so that just became like a meme. And so like there was the quotes, and then people would draw like memes and stuff on the board. And so that was like our beautiful like thing. It was our meme board in Ozanch's class, and somehow she just let us continue doing it. And
I heard she was pretty mean, but apparently she let you do that.
She wasn't mean. You probably heard that from Thomas mostly, right? Yeah. Thomas didn't like her.
And I think some other people that just like
she just
saw what
she
she
had a
did to
particular
Thomas.
vendetta against Thomas. One time we had like the calculator pouch like on the back wall, you know, and we needed calculators, and Thomas was like, I need a calculator. So he just stood up, and she's like, sit down, and he was like, I'm going to get a calculator. She's like, sit down, and he was like, okay, and then he like sat down, and then he was like, can I get a calculator? And she's like, you should have done that before. And he was like, well, I didn't, and I need one now. And then she's like, okay. And then he like got up and got a calculator, and we were like, why did that have to be a thing that just happened?
She's a little crazy.
What was I just about to look? Oh, I was about to look up. I have pictures of the meme board somewhere. But why were we talking about this?
We started talking about
Misattributing quotes.
And maths and stuff.
Fuck. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, we were talking about Judge Judy.
Judge Judy. Oh yeah, and the bulletin board that I put the quotes of Judge Judy on. But yeah, I love Judge Judy. Can we call it the Judge Judy experience?
I don't know. I would, or the fan club, but like
Judge Judy fan club.
But I just don't like Judge Judy enough that I don't want
Judge Judy. All caps. We love Judge Judy.
God damn it.
We stand Judge Judy in this household. JJ. These are too late because these are in Harmon's class by this point. Shucks. Oh, this must have been pre-calc. Good old pre-calc. God, we had such weird classes with Harmon. They were so strange.
Yeah.
Like the just dynamics in that class was so weird. 'Cause it was very like, it was like a
Especially
weird
senior
anarchy.
year. Yeah.
Like, cause we were so like familiar with Miss Harmon at that point, and she knew every single one of us, and we had all been there for 2 years just together in the same group, and it was such a small class that we just like.
I love small classes like that. There's so much more.
I had fun,
intimate.
even though some people didn't really like Miss Harmon's teaching style.
God,
you know,
I had fun in the class part of the class, but
she could be
I hated her
strange
last
sometimes.
senior year. I loved her all the rest of the years because I knew her through math team every single year. and so I liked her, but then she just got crazy my senior year.
Do you remember
She
when
hated me.
I asked her a question about something, and it turned into like the entire class us going back and forth of me being like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, between you and her.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that about again?
I think it was about why a log can't have a negative argument.
Yeah, that was it.
Something like that.
She was just like, well, that's just the way it is. That's the math law. And you're like, well, why?
And then
she didn't like that question.
It's like, because it doesn't give us good predictions, so it doesn't help us in any way to use. And I'm like, but they exist, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, so can it technically it can have a negative argument? It's not that it can't have. And it just went back and forth the whole time, and she just didn't want to answer my question.
Yeah, because she hasn't thought about math other than what's in her textbook that she has to teach people for 30 years. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't actually remember anything.
Well, and I wouldn't have gone on this whole thing if in the beginning of the year she hadn't encouraged me to ask questions and actually think hard about math. Yeah. And so I'm just thinking about this, and I want to, because it's not that I was I wasn't even arguing with her. I was just trying to figure out why this is a rule,
right?
That according to her, and it just it turned into this whole thing. It was partially my fault, because that's not the only time I've spent an entire class period arguing with a teacher. I argued with Mr. Foster for an entire class period one time. But that was also, I think that one was more on him, because he wouldn't let it go. I kept trying to be like, well, yeah,
Really?
And then he would be like, no, let's I'm just like,
That's funny.
You're obviously not going to change your mind, because I was just we were arguing about subjective morality, which is a whole issue. And the problem I was having was that I'm pretty sure that Mr. Foster is religious. So, of course, he believes in an objective morality because he believes in God.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to argue that, because we're coming from two different places.
Right.
Because it's hard to argue subjective morality to somebody who believes in God, and it's hard to argue objective morality to someone who doesn't. So it just doesn't work. So I kept trying to be like, all right, I think, there's an entire class of students who are running around throwing things, fucking taking things out of the cabinets and yelling and.
I remember thinking that high school, when I got into high school, was so much more mature than the previous classes, and it was, but now I realize just how immature it still was.
Yeah.
Oh my god, high school is ridiculous.
Yeah. There was some strange.
I was like, wow, everyone's so cool here. Everyone's so laid back and fun.
Yeah.
And then I became a senior, and I was like, oh my god. These people are ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because there are just some people who I'm like, I don't think that you know more than me. I think I'm actually right and you're not. And but teachers, they don't want to accept that because they think they're the authority. But then at the same time, there were certain teachers who knew for a fact that I knew more than they did, like Mrs. Murphy, because I don't know how Mrs. Murphy ended up being a chemistry teacher, because she did not know anything about chemistry. I don't think she studied it in college.
Well, this is the school system, the American school system we're talking about.
Yeah, you just have some random person.
You have
or like
someone
Mrs.
with
Fife,
general science major.
Yeah,
and they're like, that's good enough.
Yeah, you can teach chemistry.
You can teach high school chemistry.
Because Mrs. Guston, she taught. She taught physics, and she knew physics.
Oh yeah.
You weren't gonna argue with Miss Guston over physics, And she used to teach chemistry too, and I'm sure she was the same way with chemistry.
Yeah. She teaches algebra now.
Ugh, that sucks. Yeah. Those kids.
as well as physics. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Mrs. Harmon, you know about the chaos that was her algebra class.
Yeah, we talked about it like every day.
That was so
Yeah,
insane.
she hated her freshman class.
Yeah, her
she usually likes her freshman classes, and she likes like freshmen how like being cute and little and like
yeah,
you know, like
but
like
these
innocent.
kids were
Yeah.
tyrants, and she quit, or she was going to quit over these kids, and then she ended up moving schools.
Yeah.
Because the thing was that they stopped teaching pre-algebra at the middle school. And so these kids were being put in algebra and they haven't taken pre-algebra. So they don't understand anything that she's trying to teach them. And so she can't teach them.
I can't even imagine doing pre-algebra or algebra without pre-algebra.
Yeah.
Like that pre-algebra is like the most important year of math.
Yeah. Because pre-algebra is the basis for the rest of math.
Pre-algebra was like probably the hardest year in math for me, and I'm great at math.
Yeah.
Except for senior year because I didn't do anything.
Yeah. And luckily, we had advanced math in which we pretty much learned pre-algebra. And then we had pre-algebra, and then we had algebra.
Right, true. Yeah, we were learning a lot of algebraic like rules a long time before we learned.
And we were doing TGIF. You remember that?
Yeah.
Where they were basically teaching pre-algebra. So we learned...
like booklets?
We got to learn pre-algebra for like 3 years in a row. Whereas these kids got none of that. And then they're having to learn algebra.
I remember doing algebra in 3rd grade, like those like little like pawn things, the equations.
Yeah. That was
TGIF.
TGIF.
Okay.
When we had like the balance things,
right?
And we were moving them back and forth.
I remember doing that sort of stuff in 7th grade, but
I remember doing it first in 4th grade.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember doing it in Miss Truchon's class in particular.
Really? Because I remember doing it in Maycock's class, which is actually the same room. Yeah, but I remember doing it in Maycock's class.
Yeah. So.
For sure.
And that was 4th grade, right?
Maycock was my 3rd grade.
Really?
In the same classroom.
Who was your 3rd grade?
Wait, did I say 4th grade? Maycock was my 3rd grade.
Yeah. Who was your 3rd grade? Or who was your 4th grade?
Okay. My 4th grade was my secondary was Truchon, and my was Snodgrass.
Oh,
was my
you were in
primary.
Snodgrass's
Yeah,
class.
so we interchanged.
Good old Snodgrass.
Yeah.
She was interesting. I don't remember that much.
That was a weird
her.
system in 4th grade, like switching with another classroom, but only between the 2 teachers.
I guess it was to prepare us for the next year at like.
But
not everybody had that. That was just us in the pods.
Yeah.
But.
That's what they say, but. I think that that's more like something that was like they're like, this is the reason, but they probably had like another reason for it.
Yeah.
Like.
But yeah, I remember being terrible at math in Snodgrass's class because that was when we were doing times tables really hard. Do you remember that?
In 4th grade, we were doing times tables. Because I did division and 4th grade was division and 3rd grade was
we did division later in the year.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember I remember at the very end of 3rd grade, because we were like moving up to division. We did a day on the board where we had 4th graders come into our classroom to teach us division, and they just taught it, like they did one problem and then they asked for any volunteers, and I went up and I did a division problem, and I was just funny because like we're gonna spend the entire next year learning division, and they tell me for 20 seconds how to do division, and I did it.
Yeah.
And that's just like all of school for me, basically, is a waste of time because they could have explained it to me a lot quicker than they did.
Yeah, I remember being, and I remember doing times tables in 3rd grade also.
Okay.
Like end of 3rd grade. But I
was
remember,
really good at
I remember,
I was really good at that.
I remember, and I know for a fact that we did times tables in Snodgrass class because I can remember exactly where I was sitting relative to where she had all the numbers up on a wall. It was like right behind me, and I remember the classroom. So I remember that we did it in there, and I remember feeling like a moron because I was the only kid who could not do the times tables like at all. I had no idea how to do it, and I didn't get it. And the only ones I could do were 2s, 5s, and 9s.
It's interesting that 9s is in there.
Well, because I had a finger trick.
Oh, okay.
So I was cheating.
Oh, that finger trick, yeah.
So that's the only reason I knew how to do the 9s.
I never used that.
Faking it.
I did hear about it.
And I knew 81 and 72. I knew that 9 times 9 was
Those were a couple
81.
of my first ones I memorized also.
I remembered 9 times 8 is 72.
I remember coming back from steps.
Good old steps.
Yeah. And
Excitement.
in 3rd grade. And I walked into Maycock's class and they were doing around the world multiplication. And that was the first day they had played it. I didn't know how it worked. And one was on the board that nobody in the classroom knew. And I just blurted it out, like walking into the classroom. Because it was 11 times 12.
Yeah.
And
I don't think
I
I,
don't know
could
why
do
I
11 times 12 right now.
it's 132.
Yeah, you're right. I had to do 11 times 11 and then add in another 11.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's one of the first ones I memorized.
I know 121 is 11 times 11.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it takes me a while. See, I'm still bad at times tables.
That's funny.
But yeah, and I
You're
just...
so good at calculus.
Yeah, I loved calculus. Calculus was like kind of easy for me, honestly.
Honestly, calculus was easy, I just literally did nothing the entire class period, so I struggled.
Yeah.
But like, if I really like did as much work in it as I did in every other year of math, it would have been really fucking easy.
Yeah. God, what was I saying? Oh yeah, and I just remember that when we would do these times tables, I would be like, "Why do we have to do this? This sucks. Why can't I use a calculator?" And they're always like, "Well, you're not just gonna have a calculator with you all the time. You're not just gonna be carrying a calculator all the time." And I'm like, literally every human being in America has a fucking calculator on hand.
Yeah.
Now, and when you're in like high school and college, you have your own calculator. At least if you're in the advanced classes, my roommates at college thought it was weird that I had like 2 different like calculators that I just had with me. They're like, you just have your own like fancy calculator.
Yeah.
I'm like,
graphing inside today.
We needed one in calculus, like, because we were using it all day, every day, using this calculator. And so I'm like, this is so dumb. They're like, you're not just going to have a calculator all the time. Teacher's not going to let you use a calculator.
If I was a teacher in elementary school, or instead of saying you're not always going to have a calculator, I would have said like, this is just an exercise to expand like your cognitive functioning and
so
your
you
brain.
don't need to rely on a calculator all the time.
Exactly, like just developing your brain because
Because, if you do have your times tables down and you can just be like, oh, 9 times 8 is 72.
It's not even about actually memorizing times tables for me.
Yeah.
It's about the, like, actually thinking hard because I don't think a lot of people know how to think hard. About something, like, sometimes.
And and the other thing is, like, you always got to tell kids why.
Right.
Because that's the main thing I struggled a lot with, was that adults don't like telling you why a lot of the time. They
like being the authoritarian.
Yeah.
And like, you have to, if I say jump, you say how high.
And that always confused me to like an extreme degree. Like people not wanting to explain things to me. That's why I argued with Harmon, was because I was like, why?
Yeah.
And she wasn't giving me like a real answer. And then she's like, I think I'm just not giving you the answer that you want to hear. And I'm like, I think you're not giving a real answer, Yeah.
The answer I want to hear is clear, and you're not being clear.
Or like that one time I told you about when my dad was like, because I said so. And I'm like, I'm 18 years old, Dad. You can't pull because I said so on me. Like, I don't know what you're doing right now. It was so strange. Especially because I kept saying, I'll do what you're telling me to do. I'm going to do it. You've said that you want me to do this thing. You said you want me to move my car. I will move my car. But why do you want me to move my car? He's like, because I said so.
And it took him like 10 minutes.
And I'm like, I will move my car. You don't, you already said so. And I trust that you're using good judgment on why I should move my car. So I want to know. I'm curious, Dad. Why should I move my car? He's like, and he just kept going. It was so weird. It was one of those weird moments like the bed bug thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, why? Why are you being like this?
What is
it's so strange
you to behave this way?
Yeah, it's such a incoherent, output of behavior that I'm like, I'm an adult, and I'm like, and I'm not saying that I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do, because I'm like, you're my dad. I respect your point of view, and I think if you really want me to move my car, you probably have a good reason for wanting me to move my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already, and that happens a lot. Or like one time, he was like, we wanted to go to Seattle that one time, and it was the middle of winter, and the roads were terrible. And he was like, I don't think that's a good idea. But if you think you can handle, then you can do it if you want to. And I was like, well, if you don't think it's a good idea, then I won't do it. Like, if you've been driving longer than I have, so if you think it's dangerous for me to do this, then I won't do it. And he's like, well, you're an adult, and if you think that, and I'm like, just tell me whether or not you think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. My dad's a weird guy. Both my parents are. They're just strange. But I think all of our parents are pretty strange.
Yeah, they have their strange things.
Yeah.
I think my parents are pretty normal, but there's some... at least my dad. There's some strange things about them still.
Yeah, they have their strange qualities to them. Yeah. We still haven't figured out a name. And we're up to an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. Jeez.
Dead air.
We both grew up in, another idea for, things. We both grew up in Sela, but Sela's kind of a fucking dump, so...
Yo, fuck Sela.
I don't really want to say...
And I disapprove of the mayor.
Oh, yeah. The mayor sucks.
That was a fist bump.
The bumpin' boys. The fist bumpin' boys. I need to hear more podcast names, maybe, to just to inspire something, hear their train of thought.
I'm not gonna recite a bunch of podcasts.
Okay, fine. Yeah, we don't want to lure anyone somewhere. We don't want to be endorsing other people.
Yeah. Although maybe the algorithms, they'll hear us talking about those podcasts, and so people who listen to those podcasts will get recommended this podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, they talk about those podcasts. Yeah. Well, the corporations are.
Them too.
But they're the real ones in charge anyway, so.
Yeah.
Could call it we could call it
Peace and love.
We call it Grizzly Bears.
Krog's Diary.
Croc's Diary. Croc Thoughts. Thoughts from the I was gonna say sanctuary, but we don't have the sanctuary anymore.
Let's check my notes. Actually,
Whoa, did you hear that?
I lost all. Yeah.
Strange interference.
Yeah, I get that interference sometimes.
Usually it happens to me when my phone is near the
Really?
interface.
I because my phone got reset,
Mm-hmm.
So I lost all of my notes in my notes section.
Yeah.
There was hundreds over the last 5 years.
Good thing the list is on my phone.
Yeah,
quote
that's
list.
true.
Oh, we
I don't
should
know
look at
what
the
I
quote
lost,
list for
though.
inspiration.
That's true.
I'm gonna read.
That would be a good one.
Oh, and maybe we can make it a regular segment, reading the quotes.
Yeah.
Just, no new quotes this week. Tune in next time. Let's see. The chemical structure was fucked up. Yeah, the chemical structure was fucked up. I don't think any banger ideas in there. That's how old the piss was when Nolan drank it. He who does not see does not know. Scooby-Doo. That was like the most lazy Scooby-Doo impression I've ever
Made it
heard.
even better.
I can't imagine what vinegar does to piss over time. Fucking nipple belt, dude. I'm talking architecture, my dude. Oh, we could call it Gothic architecture.
True.
With Grog and Shane. Spy Kids was the first dramatic movie I could think of. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. We could call it Circle K. That would probably cause branding issues.
Yeah, probably. Just like Black Spindle.
Call it Strange Things. And then have like merch that's just the Stranger Things logo, but we've like scratched out the R at the end of Stranger.
Yeah.
Like really shittily. Or like
Strange.
we just cut like the R out and there's like the Photoshop like transparent background with the squares.
Oh yeah.
So you can see we just like cut it out. The vibe changes. Don't start Oaken. Oaken with Nolan Shane. Can you visualize the pattern? The rocks imply erosion. Meat sculpture. Welcome to your natural state. We're fucking delightful people, man. Two delightful people.
That's it.
Two delightful people. That seems cumbersome though, doesn't it?
Is it? Maybe.
It probably has. Let's see. Two delightful people. The Joe Rogan Experience. It's shorter than the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
But out of the same people, most people just say Joe Rogan.
Right.
Have you seen that episode of Joe Rogan? You know. Which Joe Rogan? That's 3 syllables, man. We could call it DP for short.
Delightful people. Yeah.
Penetration.
Yeah. Okay.
We could just call it
didn't
double
cross-
penetration.
Yeah, that's true.
And then whenever we have a guest, you know, it's like the two of us. We're like verbally doubly penetrating them.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sick tits, Brigga. Check out the oats on my crust. Those are some high quality leaves, man. Fish for boot, get boot, put on boot. Oh, here's a good one. This one has this one's a good one. For the folks at home. What if I die, Shane? That's me talking. And then Shane responded, I'll have to find a new drummer for my band. So, shows you how much this guy cares about me. Art is a cum explosion. You can't have both cakes, man. What about both cakes? Both cakes with Shane and
2 cakes.
Shane, 2 cakes. What? Two men, 1 cake.
God.
When Nolan takes his pills, we all disappear. Shit's mad crazy, dog. Mamma mia, I'm going for the mouth. Were you chuckling at the when Nolan takes his pills one?
Yeah.
Oh, that one was. I think that was Ben Blakeney. Shout out to Ben Blakeney. Those are his crotchless dick grabbing pants. Go outside, fuck man. You can't arrest my imagination. Hot dogs are sandwiches. Wind noise. Will Smith. But is it soft serve ice cream on a yummy yummy cone? We've got It's All in the Throat. I like the meat on my tongue. I could fuck God right now and he would cry. I might as well take this opportunity to modernize and mature the layout of my phone, which is in reference to...
You saved that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I immediately copied that when you sent it and put it in there. Oh, and this one's in a separate note, but I did write it down. I wrote, "I'll smoke weed with the devil." Ooh! Smoking weed with the devil? That's pretty good. And I can be the devil.
True.
Or you can be the devil and I'll just smoke the weed. Smoke the ganja. The weed. I don't do drugs, guys. I've never done drugs. I never will do drugs. Etc. I don't know why, but it's in bold, and I can't get rid of it.
It's the devil.
He's like, "That's me, baby." Bada bing, bada boom. Can we call it bada bing, bada boom? BD. Or BDBB. Bada bing, bada boom. Ratatouille. Pasta. People are gonna think their like phones fucking out. They're like, "Fuck my Bluetooth." Just start talking.
Yeah. Stool up.
You know. Or you know when the Twilight Zone, wasn't that like a Twilight Zone intro? They're like, "There's nothing. Don't adjust the dials on your TV. There's nothing wrong with your television," or whatever the fuck they said.
Really? I've never seen that one.
Yeah. They said that. I don't know. The Delightful People. The Delightful People podcast. The DPP. The DP podcast. The Delightful People hour. The Delightful hour. The People. The Delightful People
man.
experience. Delight. Dead air.
I'm just not I mean, I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it.
McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Two
The
cakes. Delight.
2 cakes. Delightful cakes. Cake. Cake farts. Have you seen cake farts?
No.
I gotta show you cake farts. Just get right in there. Cake farts.
I was getting some spoonfuls of Greek yogurt and the same thing happened to me.
You farted on a cake?
No. It was...
You farted in the yogurt?
No, the yogurt farted on me.
Oh. No, this girl farts on a cake. Ass to cake. Asshole to cake. Direct physical contact.
Goddamn. That's some weird shit.
Cake farts.
Wait, you gotta put that in the list now.
What?
Asshole to cake.
Ass to cake connection.
Yeah.
ACC.
Maybe that should be our podcast. Ass to cake connection.
The rainbow connection.
The catfish connection.
That's pretty good, actually. Are we gonna come back all the way full circle to the catfish connection?
We could have just stuck with catfish and found another word for it and been done with this in 10 minutes or less.
People are gonna be so mad, but that's almost even better. So I'm willing to totally just do that.
All right.
People are like, they just talked about nothing for an hour and a half, and they decided on changing one word out of the first thing they came up with. Jesus fucking Mary and Joseph.
Oh God.
Jesus fucking Mary and Joseph.
Oof.
Now that's a porno I want to see.
I'm sure it exists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want to find it
Rule
later?
34. Sure. Down.
That was too gentle, bro.
Yeah. I was afraid.
See, look at that. That
was good.
yeah. I think that was a good
Party, but
a good ratio of
moderate.
like solidness without clipping the microphone. Well, guys, this has been the Catfish Connection. I'm Nolan.
And I'm Shane.
We'll see you next time.
Hey everybody, I'm Shane.
I'm sorry, I just heard your bones crack.